Eden again. So let's talk about how to repurpose that nasty gel that you bought that doesn't do anything for your hair, makes your twist out horribly flaky and dry, or makes your wash and go just like meh. And every time you open your bathroom cupboards and you see it there, it just further pisses you off, and you think, oh my God, I can't believe I spent $20 on that gel. What am I going to do with it? So if you haven't, conjured up the heart to throw it away, or if you haven't found someone you can gift it to for whom it works, have no fear. We can rescue that situation, and you are going to learn something from the rescue. So, we've all heard of using a gel in water, watered down to refresh, like a wash and go or something like that. However, if the gel didn't work for you in the wash and go, why would you want to refresh with it? Just saying, right? Or you can take a gel and add it to a conditioner or a moisturizing cream and make it, a curl cream. Yes, sure, you can do that, but if it didn't work for you, like I said, you're not going to want to do that. So what are ways to use gels that didn't really fully work for you in the leave-in process as they were intended, in a way that actually benefits your hair in terms of its hydration as well as its appearance? So let's talk about curl priming. Most people don't know what curl priming is, okay, because there really aren't a lot of curl primers on the market. There's just a few innovative companies that have come up with curl primers. So we all know, the structure of curly hair. It spirals, or it zigzags depending on what your curl pattern is. So hydration is an issue for curly hair of all types, okay? And so when the hair is fully wet after the shampooing conditioning process, when it's soaking wet, it is a little bit more porous, it's a little bit more open, which is why a lot of times products you apply to damp or wet hair absorb more readily than products applied to dry hair. Okay, so when that cuticle is nice and open and more receptive to products, even for low porosity hair, is when you want to curl prime. Okay, so we've all heard of the lock method, which is liquid oil cream, or the LCO method, which is liquid cream oil, depending on whether you like your oil over or under your creamy leave-in products. While curl priming would take place in the L portion. So ordinarily people use water, or they use a very light, super light, sort of watery aqueous leave-in for the L part, for the liquid part, and either of those is fine. You can also use aloe vera juice, which actually does kind of serve as a curl primer. But one of the things you can do is use gel. Now, you're not going to use the full-on concentrated gel because that would be kind of crazy. But what you're going to do is use a very dilute version of the gel, like a tablespoon and about 8 ounces of water will usually do the job. Okay, and if you have other botanical extracts you like to add, you can do it then. And I'll talk about other botanical extracts in another video that you can use to make a from scratch curl primer. But if you're just doing it to reuse products or to just even experiment with the idea of curl priming, then the rubbish gel you bought is perfect. Of course, you didn't buy it thinking it was rubbish, but you discovered, oh my gosh, this gel is horrible. It probably isn't horrible, it's just horrible for you. There are ways to save the day. So with curl priming, you're trying to trap water into the hair, okay? Because a lot of times people think moisturization, they think oil, butter. And oil and butter are great for coily hair and curly hair, sort of mid texture on the way to, the coarsest, kinkiest hair textures. They really love oil and butter. They just drink it up. So that really does help with keeping the hair soft and with trapping moisture inside of the hair. But if you use lots of oils and butters or products that are rich in oils and butters on dehydrated hair, it doesn't always absorb. It might just sit on top of there or just kind of create buildup, and So oil priming is the idea that you're gonna take just pure water or the most aqueous type of thing that is hydrating, like an aloe vera juice, and you're going to trap it inside the hair. And so how would you trap it? You would trap it with a film former. So what are film forming substances? Aloe vera is a film forming substance. Aloe vera not only penetrates the hair shaft, but it also coats the hair shaft. So it kind of double functions as a moisture delivery system, as a moisturizer in and of itself, and as a film former. So I guess that's triple functioning, right? So you want something that's going to penetrate the hair shaft, and then you want something that's going to trap the water that has penetrated the hair shaft in there, just to kind of close it off and keep it in there. And then to that you will add your other sort of your creamy leave-in and your oil, okay? And then if you're doing a wash and go or a twist out and you're a gel person, then you can add a gel on top of that if you wish. So to create your own curl primer for that liquid portion, you can take a tablespoon of gel and put it in water. You can take a tablespoon of gel and put it in aloe vera juice. You want to use about 8 ounces or so. And that could work as a really good curl primer in terms of kind of getting that liquid in and then trapping the liquid. And what helps, most gels, almost all of them, have polymers in them, or they have very thick natural film formers like seaweed extracts, like like flaxseed gel can have that occlusive quality where it just kind of can exclude things on the outside and have that film forming sort of thing happening. So all these things that really sort of create that film on top of the cuticle will help to trap the water inside the cuticle. Okay, so that's one way to use your gel, and you'll find that when you do this, your wash and go tends to last longer, okay? It's more defined and it stays more hydrated, so it kind of feels softer for longer, and you have definition and you have, moisture. Your twist out will feel the same way. Even your pick out afro, like I like to pick my afro out when my hair is short, that will last longer. Now with the pick out afro situation, on the first day you do it, as your afro dries, it might feel a little bit drier and tougher, but day 2 or 3, when you rinse your hair in the shower before you add a few more leave-in products to pick it out, you will feel like your hair has more slip as you kind of are going through it, and your hair feels stronger and it'll stay more hydrated for the duration between washes or co-washing or whatever it is you're doing. So you just kind of have to play with it by texture. But if a gel kind of created a frizzy mess when you were using it as a leave-in, you probably don't want to use, like, there are ways to repurpose gels for as a curl cream or as a curl refresher, and then maybe I'll cover that in a part 2 video, so this one isn't too long. But you don't want to use a failed gel for those purposes, because it will just create the same fail that it did in the first instance. But as a curl primer, you're putting so many other things on top of it that usually you're safe, and it'll achieve the purposes of curl priming and still allow you to have a moisturized wash and go, moisturized twist out, braid out style. All right, so I hope that helps you, and I hope that it helps you learn about the components of a gel, because most gels have those occlusive sort of film forming things. It also have polymers like carbama, like PVP, sort of synthetic substances that gel up and are kind of sticky and create a film. And so it'll help you to sort of understand why things are in there and what they're actually doing for you. All right, So I hope this video found you well and that you learned something, and I look forward to hearing about your experiments with curl priming. Oh, and before I go, 3 lines that actually have curl primers that are pretty effective, I've tried all of them, is Curl Keeper by Curly Hair Solutions. And that seems to work for a variety of textures, hair textures, all the way from sort of waves and ringlets to, you know, type 4 hair like mine for people doing twist outs and braids and whatnot. And that is not made by, I try to emphasize black owned companies for natural hair things, but that one is not owned by, in fact, all 3 of the ones that I'm going to share are not black owned, but maybe that's why you should create a black owned curl primer. The second one is Aveda. Aveda has a product they actually call curl primer, and theirs is a more creamy, sort of like a super light leave-in based, that's designed to help the other products in their Be Curly line be more readily absorbed, and that works really well. And the third one is it's the Marshmallow Moisture Balm from Ingredients to Die For. It is specifically a curl primer. They don't call it that, but that's what it is. And it's designed to help the other products you use as a leave-in to be more readily absorbed. And you can also use it to mix with other bases or to create products yourself. And just, it is very, very slippery, which is nice. And it is, it's very hydrating. So on the first day under wash and go, because it does have coconut oil and a few other things that can kind of be tricky in certain climates, it might feel a little crunchy, but that crunch will go away and you will end up with a longer lasting wash and go. Like, it's the road to a 5-day wash and go, because you know, your curls will stay defined and moist. You know, your twist out, braid out, whatever will be nice and, you know, bouncy and defined, and it's worth it to try. Just be patient with how it feels on the first day. All right, I hope that you learned something, and if you like the video, subscribe. You know, you can share it, and there is an email sign up in the description box if you want to get weekly emails from me on how to learn how to make your products for sale. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.